Hi everyone, this is a review of the Moyu Cong Pyraminx. So I've had it for quite a while now, around a month, but I had some exams and vacations, so I didn't have time to do the review, so I finally do it now. The first thing to notice, obviously, is that unlike the other Moyu magnetic Pyraminx, the Kong's design does not have any magnets, so it's back to ball bearings. So you can see here. That's what was used in the older Pyraminx, so before like 2015, I guess. So it's quite weird to go back to this, but it's really good, and the inside is really good. So the moves, the normal move, I would say, are quite good. So maybe they're better than the magnetic Pyraminx. I didn't do any average without tips, for instance, to check. But the main issue with this are the tips. So you can see that they are back with ball bearings too for the tips. They are quite harder to see, but you can see them a little bit. The problem is that they really click into place with a lot of force, so a bit like the key tips also. And I don't like it that much because it means it's hard to just turn a tip. You need a lot of force to move it away from the source position. And also the biggest problem with that is that this is the only stable position, so this is not stable at all. So if you do for instance this, just a little bit, and then do an alg, so I do the free edge alg, for instance, from the LBL method. Okay, so, yeah. Obviously this doesn't work, but I do it here. So here the tip turned, well, because I use triggers for the U face, which is quite weird, but that's my turning style. And the problem is that the tip turned, but it was almost solved, and it turned when I did the alg. So when I do solves with this Pyraminx, I always do my tips first when I solve. So most of the time they are not perfectly solved, so they can be like this when I begin to actually solve the Pyraminx and not the tips. So sometimes when I did some solves with this, I always had one or two tips to fix at the end, even though I started by the tips. So that's really annoying to have more tips to solve at the end than in the beginning, because you can see here on so this is an old regular Moyu magnetic Pyraminx. This is quite stable, and it doesn't move at all, and it even come back to the solved position because of the magnets. So this is the only problem with the Kong Pyraminx. So I think what would be really good would be to have the tips from the old Moyu magnetic Pyraminx on top of this. So it's not doable by hand because the structure is completely different. So let me show you. Okay, so basically the ball bearings are in the centerpiece, so you would have to change the centerpiece. But this centerpiece has magnets, so you can't just swap them. Also, maybe they're not the same size. They should be. So it would be great to have magnetic tips with ball bearings inside. That would be a good idea, I guess. Maybe it would be better than the regular magnetic one. Another interesting stuff is that these ball bearings are actually, they can be tightened. So let me show you how. So when you remove completely the tip here, so this is a new one. This one I already tightened, but this one I didn't touch. So these are quite high right now, so you can see, oops, still an edge. So you can just remove a ball and the spring that is underneath. So be careful with this because, well, they not attached to anything, so put them in a glass or something. Obviously my screwdriver is too big now. I had a smaller one, I don't know where I put it. So here you can see that there are very little screws, so if you just tighten it, it will not change anything, just that the screw will go more below, so this level. So the ball will be a bit lower and it will give less force in the tips. So if you have one, I suggest you tighten this so the tips is easier to turn. But the problem is that if you tighten it completely, then the ball just disappears in the hole, and then the tip doesn't have any support anymore, so it just moves freely. So you need to find a good compromise, and it's quite hard to find a compromise between stability when it's solved, when the tip is solved, so that it doesn't move, and also not too strong so that you can still move it. I know that some people try to remove one or two, so for instance remove one ball and then put it back in the Pyraminx. I didn't try it, I don't know if it's worth it or not. I think you can also tighten these ones, I'm not quite sure, but I don't feel it necessary because the insides of the normal moves are really good. So as a conclusion, I would say that this Pyraminx can be good if you do the tips at the end. Really, if you do the tips at the end of the solve, this could be really nice for you because it turns really well. The only problem is that the tips don't stay solved. So if you do it at the end and then you just drop the Pyraminx with a tip like this, it's okay. It's not a problem because you don't need to do more moves. But if you do tips at the beginning or during the solve, maybe it's not such a good idea. You can also try, I don't know if it's possible to mod the tips or something so that they more like the old magnetic one. So thanks for watching and see you later.